Good morning. It's Wednesday, and there are animals on top of everything.
Literally everything. They're all over the place.
Cree, get down.
Gannon did something bad this morning that we haven't figured out, and so he's being extra needy. What'd you do?
Yep.
What did you do? We'll find out. And then you'll be fine, you freaking loser. Consequences just do not match the behavior.
Yeah.
So anxious.
How you feeling this morning?
Mostly like garbage.
Yeah.
Yeah, what happened?
I don't know.
Do you feel like garbage?
I slept fine. I'm awake. I had a really, real feeling dream that Ian died for some reason last night.
Oh no.
Like the point of waking up and having to take a moment to figure out if it had actually happened or not. So that threw me off.
That's the worst. I hate that.
And then also been having horrible allergies since then. So.
Yeah, I also had really bad allergies this morning. And it feels like someone squeezed all my organs in the middle of the night, and I woke up and was like, ugh.
Maybe it was a ghost. It's spooky ghost day.
We actually have been having weird ghost things happening the last 2 days, though.
Well, we've been doing lots of house construction and things have been falling, and so it kind of feels like ghosts, but what were the things
Which
again?
thing fell exactly on top of the one button it needs to use the... What's that called again?
Okay, one of our intercoms made a noise, which is like the barest amount of feedback an intercom could possibly get from another source nearby.
It made it for like 30 seconds. And 2, you weren't in the room with it.
Yeah.
I was in the room on the receiving one.
They got antennas though, they can pick up. They're just radio.
We know McCree was playing with a toy because we heard it, so he wasn't on the thing, and Gannon was next to me.
They're kind of like baby monitors, they can pick up different signals from things.
It has literally never once picked up a signal anywhere in the last 2 years.
They're in a highly insulated house.
Then what did it do last time?
It's also the first time it's been in that room. It wasn't a ghost.
And then our vent fell through the ceiling while no one was doing anything. It just fell. Yeah,
the vent fell out of the ceiling, but the air had just cut off, and I had been messing with it like the day before, so it was loose.
Bruh.
And so sets the tone for today's segment, which is...
Gannon messed up so bad that he's in, like, the most uncomfortable position ever, and
he
just
wasn't,
trying to...
like, by himself long enough to have done anything. It doesn't make any sense. You let him out of the room, he came down here with me.
He's not even leaning on me, there's, like, an inch between his head and me. And then his, like, body is, like, crushed in the table.
Maybe he vaguely smelled that McCree peed in my office last night and thinks he's gonna get in trouble for it.
That has happened before. Not exactly that instance,
yeah, but
it's hard to tell who pees where.
Yeah.
Honestly. Animals. Alright.
Yeah, our iPad's at 8%. I've been using it every day, but I haven't charged it in a couple days. So hopefully it makes it through the day.
Wandering Wig Mallory says, I love how Allison is so ready to believe and Kyle has an explanation for everything. This is true, actually.
This is how it's gonna go today.
Yeah. I don't want to believe in paranormal things.
I do.
I'm so easily spooked also, but I do.
That's why I'm so critical of them, is because I want to believe at least one of them, but...
Where's your magic? Where's your fantasy for the world? Where you just relax your brain a little and you can believe.
Just stop thinking and anything is possible.
But that does kind of beg like the question, like why would some people believe in it and other people not? Like, what do you think is the distinguishing factor there?
I don't know. It might just be difficulty. Like, there's lots of. I don't have ghost stories at all. Actually, it's really frustrating. That's why I'm so interested in them, because I have nothing myself. I don't have any ghost stories. I have no like profound religious experiences. I have nothing spiritual, paranormal, spooky, anything. Like, it just doesn't exist. But I do have just weird, random circumstances that happened to me and Ian a lot when we were growing up.
Yeah. Like
And-
ghost weird or just weird?
No,
weird?
just weird, just like cartoon weird, just things that are now in my sketches weird.
Yeah.
And I don't have explanations for them, and I just kind of decided I was okay with not having explanations for them. I was like, there is one, it doesn't matter, and knowing it wouldn't make the situation better. So I'm just going to accept the fact that it was weird, because that's more fun.
I also feel like I accept the fact that there aren't explanations for everything. I don't force ghosts as an explanation for things.
No, I don't think so.
But the idea that I guess it's more of actually the acceptance of accepting things that don't make sense to us, right? Kind of like the religious mindset of like, I'm very comfortable accepting that we're either small or not alone, or that there's spiritual elements that we can't understand properly. Ghosts are a little harder for me to believe in, more than like demons for some reason. Because ghosts are the idea that like people stuck around at a like the difference between ghosts and demons are supposedly like ghosts are locational and demons are people.
Well, ghosts are supposed to be
based.
dead people, right?
Well, but
demons
ghosts
are like their own thing, like
Well, but-
lore-wise, they're a separate entity.
Ghosts are supposed to be like they haunt areas. They're supposed to be tied down to a place.
Yeah.
Because they're stuck.
Right.
But demons can kind of do whatever the hell they want.
Sure.
So they're like if you're followed by something, they're gonna go like, oh, that's a demon. Versus like if you're in a place and the place is getting wrecked and you leave and you don't have those problems, then the place has a ghost. Is generally the
Sure,
idea
yeah.
of it. But like, I don't know. I just said that I don't think ghosts are like. I was gonna say that I don't think they're plausible because they're people. But like, if I was a ghost, I would haunt shit. I wouldn't not do that.
Yeah. Sure.
Well, unless there was like an option for eternal rest and not being bothered all the time. So I don't know. It's kind of hard, but like.
I was gonna just kind of rewinding back to what you were saying before. I was gonna say something very similar, which is I'm constantly under the assumption that I don't know what's going on. I very, very rarely think that I know exactly what's going on.
Yeah.
But because of that, I it's weird. You believe more in that kind of stuff, and I believe less in it for the same reasons, which is interesting.
yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I don't think I know what's going on, I don't accept anything as real without just like really solid proof that it is. So like, sure, it could be ghosts. It could also be, you know, a raccoon in the vents. It could just be some aspect of physics that I don't understand.
I'm usually willing to accept almost anything that makes more sense than a ghost. But funny enough, sometimes ghosts make the most sense.
I agree. So it's the community thing, right?
Yeah.
It's the bottle
pencil.
episode.
Yeah.
A ghost took the pen because
Right.
what's more likely that happened, or that one of us has been lying for the last hour.
3 hours, yeah. Dylan says Kylo's Dipper with a 17 cameras ready to capture proof.
I don't know that character.
Dipper is the Gravity Falls.
Okay.
The boy, which is untrue. I'm definitely Dipper. Because Dipper is paranoid and insane. But you're not the sister because she's a freaking
No.
idiot.
We watched like the first episode of that so far, so we now know the
We
characters.
did. We
at
officially
least.
watched the first episode. It gives me like strong Billy and Mandy vibes.
That's what it feels like. You're right. Yeah, it
Did not
does
like
kind
that
of look
show,
like
though.
that.
It's much better. It is so much better than Billy and Mandy. But like the vibes are there, and I was never a Billy and Mandy fan. It's like if Billy and Mandy and Adventure Time had a baby.
Yeah, it's kind of that new age of I just can't get into episodic cartoons. That's a different conversation though.
Ursa says, I live next to a graveyard, and if you read my story, you'll come upon the fact that my grandmother lives in a 900-year-old house. Despite this, I have experienced nearly nothing unexplainable regardless of these factors.
Well, this is my usual
so I
thing.
don't believe in ghosts.
Allison will, like be worried about like we'll be here or in her mom's house, and she'll be worried like, is that a ghost? And I'm like, these were built in 2005. Who died here? Why would they still be here?
That's true, actually.
Nothing could be happening in this house.
That's a really good point. I know how much sense ghosts don't make because they were actually there was a year where ghosts were created, and like when they started becoming popular, same with like the Ouija board.
Yeah, well, that's actually, it's funny that you bring that up because it was like it was a cultural thing. Like the reason most ghosts are Victorian is because the concept became interesting in that era. So it's spread throughout fiction and stuff like that. Kind of like how vampires cycled through in popular media like a decade ago or whatever.
Yeah, no, and I know that. So mostly any house built in like the last 100 years is pretty much not going to bother me actually. Is 100 too much for me? I have to be honest with myself.
I have one. So you
actually, I feel like the 50s has proper haunting material. Purely because those women have something to haunt for, right? Like, I don't trust people. So if ghosts, I mean, I do trust people. Well, I trust people to be angry. Right. So like, if ghosts are real,
people,
I believe it. Like, so anyway, let's get into some stories though.
Yeah. Do you want to do it like last time where we start with yours, we read other people's, and then we end with mine?
We can start with mine. I'll make it quick.
Okay.
So this is loud. So I had a friend who had just moved into her grandfather's house with her whole family, and her grandfather was an ex-CIA agent. I think he was like a secret. He was literally a spy. Okay.
Somehow I don't remember this detail.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't actually matter to the story much, but it's awesome. Because he had like a whole box that he had locked his entire marriage with his wife that once he died, she was able to open. Yeah. And it's just like secrets. It's just like like actual spy things too, like crap you see in movies where you're just like, they did that?
Really?
Okay. Yeah, like, I mean, like, basically, like, the cane with the sword in it and that kind of stuff, and, like...
Sure.
Like, you know, pen, microphone.
Yeah.
You know, just, like, boring crap. But also, like, really weird, fascinating, like, I don't know. What was I saying? Oh, right, so she had just moved into her house, and her grandfather just died, which is why they were there, because, Karina is her name, her grandmother had told them that they needed to come because she was being haunted by her ex-husband and didn't want to do it anymore. She wasn't scared, she was annoyed. She was like, I can't take it anymore, it's driving me nuts.
Thought it would be over when he died.
She liked him. She was just like, I can't deal with the constant, like, it doesn't end, right? He died, but he's still here, and I can't take it anymore. Yeah. And they were like, okay, you know, kind of like, because, like, when someone dies, you feel their presence. It could be upsetting. Sure. Not like ghosts. None of that family believed in ghosts whatsoever. But she would complain that, like, her biggest complaint was that the phone would ring and she would pick it up and no one was there to answer it. So then my friend moves in with her family and they have the same problem, which is that pretty much every day the phone would ring and no one would be on the other line, and it would just be like breathing, and they were like, hello, and they got really frustrated. And that happened for weeks, and they could say that, like, it felt weird being in the house, but there wasn't anything, like, distinct. So anyway, they disconnected the phone because it got called so many times and it was just breathing on the other end. And then they had Karina and I skipped school, like, regularly because high schoolers. And what happens is when they skip school, they call your house phone and they leave a message. And Wendy got a call on her cell phone from Karina's school. Yeah. And was like, the school was like, hi, we've been trying to call you at your home phone for days. And every time we call, someone picks up and is breathing, and then no one actually responds back. And so we wanted to call your cell phone because it's the emergency number we have listed. Karina hasn't been showing up to school, yada yada. They knew Karina was fine. We were skipping school. We were teenagers. Right, but they didn't. They were uncomfortable with the idea that they were calling their house and getting the same thing. Yeah. The phone had been disconnected for 3 days that happened.
If it was just you were getting calls, so this is kind of where it's interesting, because it's like, by default, I don't assume it's ghosts, because I never assume it's ghosts. Right. But it is, if it had just been like they were getting calls and somebody was breathing, it'd be like, okay, well, somebody's calling their phone and breathing for some reason. Yeah. It's definitely weird that they disconnected the phone and it kept happening. Right. But I've seen this happen at my parents' house before too, and some of them have batteries built into the base, so it may have been that they unplugged it and the phone kept running. Right. So and somebody was still calling them and breathing for some reason. It's super weird that the school called their house and got the same thing, calling the other direction. Right. That's where I lose any way to explain what was going on. Right.
So yeah, the small detail that I also skipped is after they disconnected the phone, they still kept getting the calls, but stopped answering. It would just ring and ring and ring and ring. And then then the school told Wendy, like, hey, we're getting nothing on the other end. What's going on? We figured Karina was answering and it was like a prank thing. And Wendy's like, what? So that was like the first.
Yeah, that would freak me out for sure.
So
somebody said that.
They basically just chucked the phone, and then that stopped happening.
Okay. Yeah.
And
so really just that phone was haunted, not the house.
Karina said when she would answer the phone, she would hang on the phone because it felt like he was there. Yeah. And she liked that. because she didn't view it
Okay.
as like a disruptive presence. It was her grandfather.
Sure.
So she would just hang out on the phone because she felt like they were connecting. Anyway, they chucked the phone because it was starting to freak them all out. And then later I went, so I didn't believe any of them ever at any point in time. They were an eccentric family anyway. But I went over for a sleepover. And in the sleepover, we were, I don't know, it was 2 a.m. The whole house is dark and scary. And like they have like, I don't know, it was a very dark house. And they have this long hallway. We were transferring from one room to the other room that were right across from each other. It wasn't a big move or anything. We shut both doors. We're in the dark hallway trying to be super, super quiet. And then I hear somebody just like loudly sigh, like right here. There's just like a giant like, and I'm like freaking out. And then we go into the room and we turn the light on. We look at each other and I was like, did you breathe really loudly? And she goes, no, that was you. And I was like, it was not me. And then we just sort of look at each other.
Oh, weird.
And then we turn on all the lights and we rush back into her room and then we like come under the covers and she's just looking at the door. And I'm like, why are you looking at the door? And she goes, sometimes in the middle of the night, the door will just open without reason and then someone will stand there and then leave. And I'm like, what do you mean someone? And she's like, well, not
this
like...
is information you disclosed before the sleepover began.
Right. She was like, it's not someone, it's my grandfather. I can see him there. Not like clearly, but I can tell it's him. He stands in the door and then he leaves. And sometimes I fall asleep with him watching me and I'm like, look, lady, you can't just say this thing now. Anyway, I heard something in my ear. It was distinctly a man's like breathing that happened for a total second. And that's mostly my biggest ghost story, actually. I think he still haunts that place. I don't know. That was a really long story. I apologize.
No,
anyway,
that's fine.
I'm ready for other people's stories. That's mine.
Sorry, I just had to mention out loud so you were aware. Autumn showed up and said, "Damn, is it the end of summer? Because autumn is here."
I mean, it's not laughable, but it's great.
It's pretty great.
It's pretty great.
Anyway.
Could you imagine having a name like that and just like entering rooms like this? Like I would walk into interviews like
would.
that.
Yeah.
I don't think Autumn is their name, but who cares anymore?
So if you have your own ghost stories, you can still send them to us over Twitter right now using the hashtag OKWe'reUp, which is right there on the bottom of the screen. I'm going to go ahead and read. I think I have one on Twitter, and then we also got a bunch from Discord again this morning. You can also join our Discord page, which I need to link below this or literally anywhere so that when I say that, people can go to the Discord, because I don't actually have a link for the Discord. If you go to the last... rules, there's rules for that video on the main channel. There's a link right there in the description. If somebody else happens to know the address and wants to post it here in the chat, that would also be very helpful.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's go ahead and pull open this.
Do you feel better yet?
This Twitter.
Do you feel better about whatever
story.
crime you committed? Can I let you go? Do you feel loved enough?
All right, so we got one from Tommy Dignan. It's a 4-part tweet. Says, I was walking home late at night after an intense studying session. This was when I was in college, and you can imagine my eyes were baggy. The place was derelict of life, save a couple owls hooting into the still midnight air. That's when a messy German shepherd approached me. He was larger than most dogs. His head reached up to my knees and had a scar across his right eye.
This guy's a writer.
I stayed back, and my body tensed up before he rolled onto his back with a wolfy grin. After a couple of minutes petting, there was a growling from his stomach. Luckily or unluckily, I never had the chance to eat while I was studying. I placed a ham sandwich and some crisps on the floor. He savagely consumed everything in seconds. After 1 hour of walking home, the morning sky was all in pink and purple. I came across a man. He had a scar across his right eye, and his black hair was messy. Thanks for the petting, kid, he said in a dry voice. The ham sandwich was a bit dry. I don't think that is a real one. But it was well written.
Right. The thing discrediting that the most is how well written it was.
Yeah.
You're a writer, so I'm suspicious.
Right. But it would have been more believable if the man didn't speak at the end, actually.
Yeah, probably. Well, I don't know,
If it had just been like, I saw this dog and then I saw a guy that looked really similar, then it would have like a little bit of that like spooky. You gotta leave out details to make them believable.
Yeah, no,
well written though. Good job.
It was actually very well written. That's really interesting. I know a lot of people with good ghost stories too, but I wanna keep reading. You got them all up there?
Let me see what we got.
I'm happy to read some as well. So that was our Twitter story?
That was our one Twitter story.
Amazing. Thanks, guys, for sending into Twitter. Look at this.
Oh.
It's like a nose hammock.
A nose hammock.
Phoenix Rising says, I don't have a ghost story, so I made one up. Is that Phoenix? Oh, okay, it's Phoenix. It's Phoenix Risings.
Oh, okay.
Hey, good writing, though.
Yeah.
Legit.
We have a few kind of long stories. I don't know if any of... I can't tell which ones are good before I start reading them.
You just gotta brief them. You want me to brief them?
Meaning you want to look over them first?
No, you just, like, look at every 10 words to see if it's worth reading. Tango Pup said they were going to send theirs to Twitter, but they forgot to do that, so. My mom has a bunch of ghost stories. Ricky mentioned something about, like, a spooky Raggedy Ann vacuum that somebody had.
Spooky Raggedy Ann vacuum.
I don't know. I read every other word, so I missed it. But my mom would talk about how she would walk home and they always had a doll, like, hanging by its neck in the window of one house that no one lived in, so...
That was definitely some kid that just went in there and hung that in the window.
Right, she kind of talked about it, but it was apparently like, it's like a thing for her too, though, because it matched like life event, like things would happen to it that matched her, like, I can't remember what it was, but it was things like on your wedding day, it has a wedding dress on. It was really spooky.
Okay.
My mom is a big believer, actually.
In
which
ghosts
is weird.
and stuff?
Yeah.
Huh. Yeah, I wouldn't expect that out of her.
I think it's like, ghost doesn't feel like the right word. It's not. I think a lot of people.
Spiritual, paranormal.
Right. I think a lot of people like that do believe in this kind of stuff are like ghost people. Ghost people are ghost enthusiasts. They're like ghost hunters.
Right.
That's a different type of person. There are people who believe in ghosts, and there are people who believe that something happened. And the people who believe that something happened, I think, are more common and less likely to be like, it was a ghost.
Right.
It was
just
sure
this
as hell.
unexplained thing happened.
What it was is something happened to them. And they know that it wasn't normal. And
that's the kind of stuff I'm interested in most, because it's like, I believe that that your perception was as accurate as it could be. And so I'm really curious what was happening from the other angle.
What's really frustrating is like, everyone believes my ghost story about being at Karina's house, but no one believes my story about how when I was 7, I was in the middle of a giant, open, empty field. I threw a nail polish bottle up directly into the sky. Directly into the sky. No wind. Nail polish bottles are heavy. There was no one around me. There was no sound. It never came down and it disappeared. Forever. And this makes no sense. Nothing it could have landed on. Nowhere it could have gone. I would have heard it land. I was the only thing out there. There wasn't wind strong enough to carry a nail polish bottle. Like, where did it go? No one believes that story. I don't even know what. Like, what else do you want?
That's just a glitch in the Matrix. That's just...
I'm willing to believe in these things, too. Like...
So Light posted a story earlier, says, there was a thing back in my sleep-deprived days in the military. This reminded me of some things you've talked about before, but I can't even remember if I experienced it myself or if another soldier experienced it and told it, and I can imagine it so vividly it stuck itself as a memory. Either way, guarding at night sleep-deprived caused us to see things at night out of the corner of our eyes. We saw people walking on the sidewalk, but when we turned to look, we saw stuff like a bush or a stop sign. You've mentioned seeing shadow people before, like while driving.
Excuse you.
What?
This isn't something I was going to just talk about on stream.
Why? This fits the theme.
No, it's fine. You can talk about my shadow people. Well, yeah, so shadow people is a phenomenon that, like, exists commonly? Not commonly,
yeah,
but
I think so.
It's essentially the idea that, well, no one knows what the hell it is. It's believed to occasionally be, kind of when your eyes...
Sleep deprivation would definitely do it, so in this situation, I think that's what it is.
Yeah, it's kind of like daytime sleep paralysis, where you see humanoid figures that look like shadow people that sort of arise at night, or when you're highly stressed, or when you're not sleeping.
Yeah.
But only some people get them, and some people are totally fine when they see them, so it's a bit of a thing. But I have seen shadow people. They're spooky as hell. I hate them. They're not welcome. I have lots of shadow people stories. Those feel too real. They don't feel cool like ghost stories. They feel like my brain trying to attack me. We have some in chat too.
Okay.
Tango Pup says, in my theater class this past semester, I was performing with a group. And the recording of it caught a weird light at the top of the screen. It was moving in an erratic manner, and nobody had had out devices beside the teacher who is recording. Apparently, the theater at the school is haunted by 2 ghosts. One named Julia, who just kind of hangs out, and one unnamed one who is kind of aggressive. Apparently, one student just got random scratches while being alone backstage, and the teacher hears random voices. Spooky. Well, okay, so I'm not discrediting this story, but theater people. I love theater people, don't get me wrong. I was a theater person.
Yeah.
But they live for this kind of stuff, right? Like, Ricky has said...
Actually, another shadow people story.
Ricky said, that's because shadow people are real. You can't, like the art... Well, they're real as in, like, they exist enough that there's,
Right.
like...
I think it's a real mental phenomenon.
Ricky says, same grandparents... house, my parents found me sleepwalking around the house, unlocking doors and turning on lights, and I told my parents I'm getting ready for my friends. So Ricky was haunting his grandmother's house. That's cool. Thank you, Ricky. My parents should have disowned me then and there.
I would
have. I absolutely would have. If you sleptwalk, we would not be married. We would have broken up. I don't do that. That shit freaks me out. I cannot do sleepwalking. It's too... I'm so easily spooked. There's no way. Someone actually has the best theory I've heard for the nail polish story.
Oh, yeah?
Which is that it came back down and hit me in the head. And therefore I have no memory of it. Like, it hit just, like the one spot where, like, I never remember. It was really frustrating because, like, it was like a movie. I threw it up.
Yeah.
And I waited. And I was like... And I threw it up. I didn't throw it like that.
Yeah.
Like, I threw it
just
up.
Straight up.
And I was just waiting. And then Thomas came around like 2 minutes later. Was like, Allison, you ready to go? And I'm like, what? Did you see a nail polish bottle?
Gigabrid says, several times I've seen a cat walking around the house. It's usually only for a fleeting second as it walks around a corner, but clear as day I've seen a brownish short-furred tabby cat. This has happened 3 times, and each time I've chased the cat to find it, it's been gone with all doors and windows closed. I live in a relatively new house. My family is the only people to have lived in it. We do not and never have owned any form of pet. My mom has friends who claim to be sensitive, and they say there's a ghost who lives in the house called Joseph who was a boy drowned in a nearby canal that isn't there anymore.
I think drowned ghosts are the spookiest ghosts.
Yeah.
Is there more?
I just like this explanation. I can't imagine somebody telling you this explanation. It's like, there's a cat. I've seen a cat in my house. Oh, it's probably a ghost. No, it's a cat. No, it's a ghost. It's probably like a little boy ghost. Why is there a little... What little boy? Like Joseph or something. Who the hell is Joseph? Is it drowned or something? There's no water. There was water. What do you mean that there's no water anymore, but there was? Like, what
it
is
does
this?
Sound like
What is this explanation?
Up, right? Like, right? You're like, hey, I saw a cat, and they're looking around, and they're like, not a cat, a boy, and they're like, wait, no, it was a cat. And you're like, no, it was a boy, and he's a ghost, and they're like.
I just like the part about, how'd he die? He drowned years ago in what? The canal that was once here but is no longer.
Singing slasher vibes.
Yeah.
Autumn says, aren't all houses in America relatively new houses? Yeah.
Yeah, no, any of our hauntings are kind of pathetic,
like
really.
300 years old, so... You say that, but it seems like the haunting comes with the trauma, which we've had plenty of.
Sure. Yeah,
so,
that's fair. We've just had less time to have repeat traumas.
Right.
So you can't really have the layers of ghosts.
Ricky says that he also gets shadow people.
Okay. I think most people that have any kind of sleeping problem end up with shadow people at the very least.
I never had a sleeping problem.
But Ricky doesn't at all. So I'm actually kind of confused.
He said he gets it from driving too long, though.
Okay, you had yours while driving too.
I did, so, yeah. I had most of mine while driving, but I'm not driving too long.
That may also be a weird, like, so it's definitely your brain recognizing patterns where they are.
Yes.
And so if you're driving, you're seeing things move while you are relatively staying still. So it might just be something about your brain seeing movement and translating it into people shapes.
Or demons. Now, Autumn says, I've heard and seen plenty of things, but like hearing voices and seeing things occasionally says more about me than it does the existence of ghosts, since I've had auditory hallucinations for about half my life. Oh.
That's interesting. I'd be curious to hear more about that.
Yeah, like what's more interesting, ghosts or that people have things so wrong with them?
To me, that's way more interesting because I know that's happening, and people have to live with that like regularly.
Well, and what's interesting is that like then a lot of people have strange phenomenons like that we're just so far away from understanding.
Yeah.
Like, how does that explain my story? How did we both share that experience?
I think because all brains are capable of breaking in the same ways. It's just kind of like how...
At the same time, in the same place? With the same noise? My experience with Karina. Sorry.
Oh, that.
No, yeah,
okay.
sorry. No,
I don't actually have an explanation for that one.
Yeah.
I still
Where
don't
did
think
my
it's a
nail polish
ghost, but I
bottle
don't know
go?
what that was.
Maybe a shadow person took it.
I'm going to read one more story from Discord.
Yeah,
I'm just randomly picking one just so that we have some more covered, but we're getting close to the end of this segment.
We got some in chat too.
Princeps says, so basically one side of my family is into paranormal stuff like fortune telling, horoscopes, etc. I'm very skeptical, but they always were trying to convince me that it's all true. One day I'm kind of fed up. I made up a story about a ghost dog in the hallway, and they all believed it. They interpreted it. They said that it made sense. A few hours later, I revealed it was fake, but this time they didn't believe me and said that I shouldn't be afraid of it or reject my third eye kid the thing or something. That was what taught me that people believe what they want to believe, rejecting things that doesn't match their beliefs while concentrating on things that support it no matter how few or how weak they are.
It's fascinating that most people come to that conclusion with their overtly religious families.
Yeah.
This guy gets the experience of Wiccans,
right?
like people who believe in ghosts.
Yeah.
The Alchemist of the Sun says, my cousins lived in a house that everyone was pretty sure was haunted for years. My dad, being a weirdo, decided that he was going to do a whole ghost hunters deal and set up some audio recording stuff, with my cousin's family's permission, to see if there was any evidence for what they had been experiencing. When the recording was listened back to, a loud scraping noise was heard, sounding like it was someone dragging a table or something heavy up the stairs, as well as loud breathing. There were no scratches on the floor, and my cousins had already moved out by that point. Nope, don't like that story. I've never actually had anything do anything spooky to me.
Yeah.
Nothing is like, things have fallen or been moved weird places or like moved across a room or breathed in my ear, but nothing has ever been aggressive. To me or someone I knew. I guess dragging a table isn't aggressive.
I have one, I guess it's just really kind of a counter ghost story at this point.
Let's hear it. We've got some of those.
At the very end here. Before we switch over, before we check in with Matt,
sure.
I'll try to keep it quick. But it was it was in my Ireland trip, and Ireland has the creepiest folklore of any place I've ever heard. By the way,
yeah,
like all the terrifying existential ghost crap comes from Ireland.
Yeah.
And I went on a ghost tour in Ireland where they took us to this like really old abbey out in the middle of the woods, and they played it all up. It was this huge thing. You drive in like a blacked out bus there, and the guide when you get there is like dressed in full like graveskeeper garb with like a lantern and stuff, and like takes you down this path.
Are you describing something real?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was a real thing.
Your Ireland story. Yeah.
And they have they time it just right, so when you get there, you just see it like silhouetted against the sunset in the distance. It's very well done. The groundskeeper, like the guy, the tour guide, he when you get there, he starts it off by saying, "I've been doing this for a long time. I've had people say they've experienced or felt things. I've never felt anything. That said, there are hundreds of dead bodies underneath the ground here. On we go." And then you start going. And there's all these stories about how apparently it was like a really holy place to be buried, and people would like make their children promise them that they would be buried there before they died. Yeah. So then the kids would go and they'd be like, well, there's no room. And so they'd open one of the tombs, they'd pick the body out of the tomb that was in there, drop it on the ground, put their person in, and be like, job done, promise fulfilled.
Where did the other one go?
Have on the floor. So there's just bodies everywhere that eventually got buried up. So you're walking on like a layer of dead people basically while you're there.
That's so fun. What a fun thing.
Also, like cannibals lived there at one point. Basically, if any place in the world was going to be haunted, it would be this building. There's no way anything could be more haunted than this place. And we went to like the most haunted room, the one room where everybody like feels whatever kind of connection or anything, and they turn off the lights and they let everybody just kind of sit there for a minute in silence just to see if you can feel something. And a minute passed, and the most I thought was, man, it would have really sucked to have to get up and use the bathroom in the middle of the night when you're living in a castle. You just cannot see anything.
Your story reminded me of two
That's the most I got.
very important things.
What's that?
The first one is, I like ghosts and ghost stories and ghost explanations because they feel like an answer.
Yeah.
More than not an answer. They feel like an answer. Not one that I'd force there, but they feel like the acceptance of something greater. Not greater, but just like things we are uncomfortable acknowledging, whether that's like spiritual worlds or other plane. I don't know. I don't really know where that kind of stuff comes from, or that the world exists in a manner much larger than we feel like it does, with an extra, with death being a part of it somewhere. Anyway, I feel like that is, like, that's a big part of that existing in my own head, which is that I'm very comfortable with these ideas. And 2, people are so much scarier. Living actual people are way scarier than ghosts ever will be.
Yeah,
because ghosts will haunt you and like mess with you mentally, and that's spooky. And demons are kind of another thing, but people will cannibalize you and rape and murder and kidnap, and like people are scarier. So like, when I go to bed at night, it's not the ghost in my house that's breathing in my ear or throwing my crap around. I'm almost interested, because they hold, like, if ghosts are real and haunting you,
they hold the secrets to the universe at that point, right? It's like, if they're real, then I don't have anything to really worry about, actually.
But cannibals hold no secrets to the universe, offer nothing except they're gonna eat you.
I totally agree with all of this.
This is why I'm kind of like okay and sort of accept all of this stuff, is because even though it spooks me, people are worse.
I'm fascinated with it. I love reading all these stories and like just looking into this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And again, I don't think I know anything, so I think there's like entirely possible to be extra dimensional, metaphysical crap going on beyond everything that humans can perceive and experience.
Let's get Matt's thoughts on this.
Yeah.
Let's see if he's got something planned, or we can ask him.
He should be ready to go. Looks like he's online.
Cool.
I noticed he's not on his phone again, which might mean we're gonna get VR, Matt.
Well, he can still tell ghost stories in VR.
Let's see what we get here. I need to turn up our
oh yeah, I turned it down a lot.
Our rolling you a bit.
Matt.
Thank you everybody for sending in your ghost stories, by the way.
Yes, those were awesome.
We will we'll come up with a new prompt by the end of the episode.
Hello.
Hi, Matt.
How's it going?
She's lit. How are you?
We're good. We can't see you.
Now you can.
Boom.
There we go.
Matt,
Welcome.
we're telling ghost stories.
Ooh, fun.
You believe in ghosts?
No.
Wow. Do you believe in anything?
Absolutely not.
Do you have any spooky or weird stories? Weird occurrences?
Yeah, one time there was a freak bug on my bench.
That's a stink bug.
I know, I'm gonna squeak him.
Don't. He's going
I'm just kidding. I don't like killing any bugs unless they're mosquitoes. And that's it.
Unless they're what? Did you say spiders?
It's mosquitoes.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
Mosquito bat.
You don't have any spooky stories? Do you ever
Well,
have like a
the Grim Reaper visited me when I was a child.
like?
Yeah, what's he like?
He's spooky. He just
were you a Sims child, or what's going on?
Basically, I was just asleep, and he came into my room doing this, and his head was doing this, and he went, and I went,
Was it Halloween?
no, it was a dream, almost certainly. But I didn't know the difference when I was a kid. I thought it was real forever.
But don't anymore.
Could have been real, I don't know. Maybe I died then. And I've just been in heaven ever since.
I didn't account for the people who just don't give a shit. Like, there's people who are like, it's not real, and then there's people who are real, and then there's Matt who's like, could be, or fine. No, who cares? Who cares?
Yeah, I mean, it's fun to pretend. Like, I love ghost adventures, and you have to, like, convince yourself that it's real to, get spooked and, enjoy that show to its fullest. So it's easy to just pretend for a while. But yeah, no, I've definitely, tried. That's the thing. If you, want ghosts to exist and you want to talk to them, which I definitely have done many times, they never show up.
Oh, like you talk, but then they ain't there.
Or you try, you turn off all your lights and you look around and you're like, I'm doing the opposite of something that someone scared of ghosts would do. I'm looking into all the corners.
Right.
I'm in an old house or some shit.
I was literally about to say I would never do this because I'm spooked and don't disbelieve in ghosts. So I would spend 0 time searching them out so they could find
Well,
me.
you just finished saying that you would be comforted knowing that they existed, but you wouldn't want to go at it.
Yeah,
find it
totally.
out.
Yeah.
Yes, different things. Not
I
comfort in knowing that there are things I don't know, and that there's proof of a potential bridge there, but not like, come find me. I don't like that. No one's ever said ghosts told them all the secrets. They just know them. Anyway, sorry, Matt. It's your time.
Well, if you did look for them, then like I've said, that's probably your best bet. Reverse psychology. Because if you went looking for them, then they wouldn't show up.
Matt, Chad is sure that you are the ghost. And
Well,
that's why.
That could be possible.
But
I could be dead. I could be not real.
wouldn't that be disappointing? This is where you go.
I could be in a simulation. I could be in some fresh hell. That's what hell would be like. Hell wouldn't be some cartoonish, fiery pit with
No.
demons running around. It would be like psychological torture that is indistinguishable, like where you couldn't tell that you were in hell. I think would be part of it.
My understanding of hell, which is not in any way... anyway, my understanding of hell is that it's exactly like everything else except hopeless.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like, it's like really, you wouldn't know, or else what's the point? Like if you're just like tortured in a pit over fire, people are like, yeah, that's metal, I'm gonna go there. But
Yeah.
mostly it's mostly just like real life, but you're hopeless and you have no true belief that there's someone who could save your soul.
Yeah, show me the difference. Show me the difference between our current reality and that.
So ghosts.
So what you got going on, man?
Yeah. What's happening? How's your Wednesday going?
Sitting in front of a brick wall, getting bit by mosquitoes.
Do you have mosquito stuff?
I put mosquito stuff on my ankles, but it doesn't work too good. It's got date in it. It's covered in date.
Is this talking to your Texas relative simulator?
Yeah, this is Roscoe Lee here. And I'm wearing 2 belt buckles.
I don't know why I thought of this, but Matt, where is your family like from? Like, are they like true Texas, or are you like German Texan like Kyle, or?
My father's family is true Texas, although he lived in California, and I was raised in California. And then my mother's family is like northeastern, like
Oh, okay, I
Maine,
see.
like Maine, fucking Maine and Canada northeastern.
So if you visit like grandparents on your mom's side, are they over there?
Grandparents on my mom's side are all dead, and have been for
fine.
years.
Cool, yeah. They're ghosts.
Same as all my grandparents are dead. So no.
None of mine are dead. They're just mean.
Yeah, it's weird. I
Yeah.
haven't had a grandparent in a long, long time.
Well, so why don't you you got any good news?
Yeah, I think to spice this up a little bit.
What is it? Is it getting grim? All right, here. Let me think of something cool and good.
Yeah, fam. I mean, your shirt's keeping me going, but might
This is
not
a
be
good
enough for
shirt.
Are you doing okay? Can we help you in any way?
It's a great shirt.
How? Someone screenshot this. This is the album cover.
Words of affirmation.
You are enough.
It seems like
No, I was gonna do
no.
that
We're
too.
offering
Yeah,
it to
we-
you. You seem like you
Seem a
woke
little-
up in a bit of a cloudy mood today.
I don't know why I was so sleepy. I got like 8 hours of sleep.
We had the same. We
Yeah,
literally had the
we
same problem. We
also-
started this whole thing with like we slept great and we feel terrible.
It's the
Yeah,
goals.
but 'tis not an ease to rise on a grey day. The devil holds fast your eyelids. 10 points to
So-
whoever in chat tells me what movie that is. No, I've got a good thing actually.
Okay.
Something that will cheer at least one of you up. Guess who is 14 episodes in to Avatar: The Last Airbender?
Hey, hopefully you, or this is a terrible story.
Yeah, it's me.
Nailed it. Absolutely awesome. How are you feeling about it?
It's great, and it has convinced me that, well, I just disagreed with myself as I had that thought. I was going to say that serialized television is the best television, then I thought about all of the great non-serialized television that I love. But I can't get enough of that bite-sized little 22-minute self-contained story that I just nibble on and then move on, you know?
Yeah,
It's good, and it's
Yeah.
And,
Okay.
What?
I said you're talking about Avatar, right?
Yes.
Okay.
That's what serialized means, right? Where every episode's like a different self-contained story.
I think so.
I'm gonna
like
say
each
that's what it
episode
means.
has its own story going on.
Yeah,
Like it
yeah,
doesn't have
just
to be
like-
like an overarching thing.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
still overarching themes and whatnot, but it's not like you don't need to.
You said No, go ahead.
Spoiler alert. The moment I was like that the show tricked me into liking it was they're saving a man from a cave in, and Katara's like, you have to use your earthbending, and he's like, I can't, I'm not allowed to, and she's like, no one's around, just do it. So he saves the old man with his earthbending, and I was like, man, if this show was smart, that guy that he just saved would snitch him out to the Fire Nation, but like they won't do that because that's like too complicated of a human emotion. Oh, they did that. Oh, oh, tight. There's a bunch of little stuff like that, just like
Yeah.
real human what do you call it? Quirks that you don't see
Yeah.
in normal kids shows.
No, yeah,
Yeah.
it's for a kid show. It does a lot of really human things and covers a lot of stuff that you just wouldn't like. You know, just most Nickelodeon shows didn't cover like the consequences of war or anything
Yeah.
like that. So
Actually-
It's mostly just making me upset I didn't watch it at the time, even though I was probably like 16. So it's not like I wish I'd watched it at like 10. That would have been cool.
I started watching it at 10 and then proceeded to watch it more and more as an adult anyway, and it's better as an adult, honestly.
Yeah. Wait, how old are
Yeah,
you,
that's true.
Allison?
What?
How old
How
are
am
you?
I?
Yeah.
I'm 26.
Okay, that tracks.
Yeah. No, Avatar. I'm actually watching another show, but I don't want to be too outlandish here. But it does the same thing as Avatar, which is I know I like shows when I go, wow, this would really take off if it did this thing, and then 2 seconds later it does that thing, and I'm like, what?
Totally.
Well, I am hooked. I had no idea. But no, Avatar is great, and you're so early. What that feeling is going to multiply and get more and more as you continue to watch it.
Yeah, no, I can't wait. What's the show you were just talking about?
She-Ra.
She-Ra?
She-Ra,
yeah, the new one on
newest-
Netflix is actually pretty good.
Oh.
It's like if you combine Teen Titans and Avatar into
Wow.
a show, it's unreasonably good. I'm mad that it exists and no one was telling me how good it was, and that it exists as good as it is. It sort of just pisses me off. Good
Is
writing occasionally makes me
She-Ra's
angry.
like, she turns into a tiger or something, right?
No, that's
No,
the
that-
Wildcats or something. I don't know.
That's Thundercats or whatever. It's just female He-Man.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, Netflix and DreamWorks got together and remade She-Ra, and it's so stupidly good that I'm mad. I'm mad that it's that good. I don't know why do they do that to us? I don't know. It's weird.
Okay,
'Cause I
I'll watch
can't-
that one next.
I'm mad that it's good because I can't go up to people and be like, watch She-Ra and expect them to do that.
Right.
That's why I'm mad.
I've been telling people to watch Ghost Adventures for like a decade.
People
and
have
it
been
never
watching
gets
Ghost
old.
Adventures.
Who?
Well, there's like a very small,
Yeah, no one I've told
dedicated
watches
few.
Ghost Adventures.
Everyone has seen Ghost Adventures.
Yeah, but they haven't seen it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They haven't let it into their heart. Like, you can go to church, but until you let Jesus in, it's like, you know, it doesn't count.
Chat's asking us questions about Netflix shows. So I think we're gonna head out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks for joining.
Thanks for always getting up every day, geez.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thanks for just being there.
I'll think of some shit to do.
Being there and being you.
I'll think of another fun game sooner or later. Maybe not this week.
Tomorrow is show and tell if you have anything you want to show off.
Oh, okay. I can do that.
Yeah. All right, we'll see you later, Matt. Thanks for joining
bye.
us.
Wait. Hold
Never
on,
mind.
Matt. Pick a topic for the next Wednesday's write-in. Like, what can we do stories from the audience every Wednesday.
This one
We-
was
we
ghost
need a new
stories.
one. Yeah, today was ghost stories.
Last time was
Last time was weirdest experience with a stranger.
Right.
First time was worst food you've ever eaten, I think.
Okay, well, this one might overlap with ghost stories, and it might get grim. So you just have to like make a rule to not like include any downers. But I always like family lore, like you know,
Okay.
some stuff that happened in your that one story you and your family always tells.
Oh, I like that
That-
actually.
Yeah,
Yeah.
me too.
Yeah. All right.
Okay, yeah, we'll go with that.
All right. Sounds
Sick.
good.
Thanks.
We will.
Bye.
We'll talk to you later. Bye,
Talk
Matt.
to you later, Matt.
Right.
Just because I was getting questions about this, I feel like She-Ra is so stupid good.
Yeah,
I'm
it really
so
is.
sorry that I'm telling you this because again, there is like no way
music was stupid loud on the actual
sorry.
stream.
She-Ra is in the visual style of Steven Universe, Avatar, and Teen Titans.
Yeah, somewhere in there.
It has the writing style of Avatar and Teen Titans. And then it has amazing voice acting, fantastic
really good.
animation, and stupidly good
Well,
stories.
it's actually interesting. I thought the animation was really
can't
cheap
even
when it
deal with it.
started. I thought
Yeah.
the animation was cheap.
Yeah.
Having watched more of it now, I think what it's actually it's not cheap.
Right.
I think what it's doing is it's imitating 80s cartoon style.
Right.
So when you first start watching it, it looks cheap because it looks old. It looks like how they used to animate things.
Right.
But they actually, the more you watch, there's a lot of detail in it. It's just a stylistic choice that they made.
Yeah. Well, it's just frustrating because I'm obviously a feminist, which means people think I'm going to recommend the show because
Right, yeah,
feminism.
it just makes it hard to...
And that's not why.
Right,
I mean,
it's
yes,
just good.
that's why, but also not why at all. It's actually just too good of a show to
Fantastic
not be watching.
example of a show that's just great and has it actually the gender balance is just flipped. It's almost entirely women with some men,
Yeah.
and you don't notice really. At least I don't when I'm
You-
watching it. It's like it
you
doesn't
notice,
matter.
but it
Or you-
feels like all the other shows.
right. It's like okay, that's the way this is going, and it's good and doesn't actually play into the like how it works at all. Like it's just
Yeah.
it's just kind of great evidence of like look, women can carry a story just as well.
Well, I don't know if the writing is all women. I assume it probably is actually. I mean,
I assume
is-
the production team is also.
I can
at
only
least,
ever tell people to watch it based purely on the fact that it's a good show, because as soon as I start going into like how it's a great show for women and the characters are amazing and everyone put in effort to make sure that like all the characters make sense, people they start going, oh, so it panders to women,
right.
and it's like, yeah, women existing in TV show is just pandering. Can you believe it?
All
like,
of those
what
things
if
are
women
true,
were real?
But it doesn't matter. It's just a good show. You
It's
can
true,
just
yeah.
it's great.
Yeah, no, it really is good.
Autumn says, Kyle, please tell me you're not the kind of person to leave stickers on drinking glasses. Normally, no. These were really
What?
cheap, and we got them.
I
and
always take
haven't
those off.
Removed this one
Is
yet.
that a kind of person?
Yes, it is.
Can we just-
I apologize for even implying that I might be that kind
Can
of
we
person.
exile those people from
because
society?
I am so the opposite kind of person.
You will spend 20 minutes taking one sticker off if you have to.
Yes, I will.
How did you miss that?
I don't know. I've just been really. I noticed it probably when we came back. It's a new cup, and I've been so busy. I just haven't bothered trying to get the sticker off yet.
Wow, that's really upsetting. People know people who leave stickers on like on purpose, and I just
One of the most annoying things is people who leave the plastic on their electronics. There were several people at the Art Institute that would leave that layer of plastic on their electronics, so they go like, it protects it. It doesn't. That's not what it's for. It just looks gross. It gets old and gross faster if you leave that on there.
Ghost of a Rose literally just admitted to being that kind of person. How do we shun someone? I'm just kidding. You're probably fine as a person, but
Does Twitch have a shun tool? Can you
don't shun this person. We do not encourage the negative feelings towards this person, except how dare you. All right. So is it time for headlines?
Headlines.
Time for headlines.
We have like 10 minutes.
Cool. Don't we always?
Yeah.
Actually, we've gotten good at like the pacing of the show. It
We've
seems
gotten
like.
decent, yeah. We definitely run a little bit over on the main segment each time.
Yeah.
But that's I don't think that's a bad thing necessarily.
We can denounce them.
That's true.
That's
we
what
denounce
we
you.
do. You're denounced. Okay.
We need an I denounce you emoticon.
All right. So I have a group of stories. I have a.
Emoji.
You can pick which
Emoji.
story you want to go through. I
Okay.
have the happy uplifting story.
Okay.
I have the hilariously ridiculous story, and then I also have the tragic ironic story. What are we feeling today?
I'm almost always feeling hilariously ridiculous.
Okay.
I think we gotta go with that.
All right, hilariously ridiculous it is. There's
Yep.
not much to talk about here, so it might be short.
Okay.
We'll start with this
We'll
one.
do another one.
This one says, when it loads, today I learned that a Chinese businessman hired a hitman to take out a competitor for $282,000. That hitman hired another hitman, offering him $141,000. That man hired another hitman, who hired another hitman, who hired another hitman. The fifth hitman simply asked for the man to fake his death. Yeah,
That's beautiful.
yeah.
I couldn't have written anything better.
Yeah. Yeah, they were all eventually found out and charged. I
That's
guess
just the entire plot of a sketch. I could just make that as a sketch, and it would be great.
No, there's almost nothing to talk about because it beautifully is its own story from beginning to end.
Yeah.
With all of the interesting things throughout it, like.
We did kind of make a sketch about this. We had where the punchline was that the mob outsourced its beatings to drones.
It's got to be not untrue. Like that has to happen at this point. I just can't like. Do you know how mad I would be if I hired a hitman for almost $300,000 and they hired someone else?
Yeah.
Like, is this a pyramid scheme? Is that what happened?
It kind of reminds me a while ago. There was a story that I think I heard on like. I don't remember. It was a while ago. There was a story of somebody getting fired at their like tech company because they were like checking in. It was one of those companies where you have to have like a specific USB key to log in to your account.
Yeah.
And they were noticing that it was being connected from like somewhere in like China or something. Mm-hmm. And they were like, somebody's hacking our servers. We don't know what's going on. But it was one specific employee's USB key that had been there for like years.
Yeah.
And so they started looking into it, and they found out that employee had been mailing his USB key to somebody in China and paying him part of his salary to do all of his work for him.
Oh my god.
And then not actually doing work at the company, but still pocketing the rest of the money.
Is this legal?
And, well, he doesn't... Well,
should it be
illegal? I don't know if it's legal. He got fired. My thought was, promote that guy to manager. Like, he's got...
That sounded like my dad. That sounded like something my dad would say. Promote that guy for creative thinking. I just like.
Like in our capitalist society, like that's who you want on your team, isn't it?
Well, I mean, yeah, that's what people at the top actually do. Literally nothing, and just pay everyone else to do those things. And then like one person's like, "Hey, do that thing," and they're like, "Gotta find somebody undercover who can do this because I have no qualifications. How did I even get here?"
Right.
Like,
but apparently he'd been doing this for like months. Like it had gone on for a really long time.
Like not to be too political. But like sometimes I feel this way. Sometimes I feel this way about the Trump children, who like somebody calls up and is like, "Hey, will you do a thing?" And I can just see them being like, "I've never done anything. I have no idea how to do such a thing." Like there was one interview with.
I'm sure there are lots of people that do exactly this.
One interview with one of the Trump boys. I think they're both also named Donald. I have no idea.
Probably. At least one of them is.
Right.
Are there two?
Aren't there?
I don't know.
I don't know, but someone had the idea that they should go out and fix a PR thing.
Oh.
And it went bad. And I'm like, why wouldn't you just pay someone else to do that? Like, this
Don't
is what
hire
happens.
someone who's never worked on anything.
I'm almost like, it sounded like an insult. I'm kind of like praising the idea of like underqualified. Pay someone else to do it. I don't know. Like...
Jesus Christ.
What happened?
According to Yo Jam Jam, one of them is named Donald Jr., the other one is named Chudly.
What? You can tell who's the favorite. I mean, like...
Oh, there's then Phoenix Writing says that there was Eric, and then there was a kid that's just done with his dad's shit.
Oh, right. There's like a small one, isn't there? Don't make fun of Chudly 4.
Chudly 4. Okay, so what's the good news? Let's end on the good news headline.
Chudly.
I mean, that's pretty great news right there, but let's end on your good news
Wait, I have
headline.
to, like, the psychology behind this is, like, he picked his favorites right off the bat, right? Because he named one of them after himself and one of them after, like, a name that doesn't even exist for limo riders or limo drivers.
But
like,
apparently has existed 4 times before because he's the 4th. So this must also be a family name.
That person's name is Chudly Drumpf the 4th. Wow, that made my day. Anyway,
yeah.
Okay, so happy story.
Push the button. You can do whatever you want in life, but your name is Chudly.
No. I won't do it.
That was his actual push the button. This was an actual choice to be made.
I won't do it. Well...
This is someone's reality. Anyway.
Alright, today I learned a dad in Texas couldn't find an amusement park that would accommodate his daughter with special needs, so he sold his home building business and built a completely accessible amusement park for kids with special needs called Morgan's Wonderland.
Oh yeah, I've heard. Yeah, that's
We live
that's
5 minutes away
in
from
San
Morgan's.
Antonio.
Yeah.
We don't live 5 minutes away. Don't find us.
We live 5 minutes away up, so you'll never find us. Or is it down? Who knows?
Are you referring to north and south
No.
as up and down?
No, I'm not.
We float above Morgan's Wonderland.
Or live within the depths underneath Morgan's
Anyway,
Wonderland.
yeah, I thought that was really cool. That was because I always wondered. We drive past it a lot.
Yeah.
And I wondered like, why is this, why is this empty theme park always sitting here?
Yeah, I was reading more details about it, and they apparently like they accommodate all kinds of disabilities. They even have like resting centers for what? Anyway, they even have like resting centers for kids with autism that get over. What is wrong with you? We're talking about disabled children.
Sorry, somebody referred to Trump's youngest child as the littlest Trumpling. I just saw it out of the corner of my eye, and I haven't been able to get rid of it.
All of these names sound like someone who is like from a starving English family would name their children this, like that they were all hungry, like Chudly. It sounds like you were hungry, forgot the name of something, and just named your child that. Like,
Just hunger insanity.
Yeah.
Just naming your kids.
like God, what is that delicious thing I ate that one time? Oh my God, I can't remember. Chudly.
Chudly.
Call him Chudly. Just
Okay.
Trumplings.
Anyway, sorry, what were you saying?
Trumplings.
Can you buy those? Can we?
You want his
Serve
children? You
a
want to buy
plate-
his children?
No, just a plate of like chicken and trumplings.
I literally just imagine like a plate of dumplings with like wigs. Like just normal regular dumplings, but just like a Trump wig on top
What
of
were
them.
you saying? Please change
Sorry.
the subject for me.
Just that they accommodate for pretty much everything. They have Ferris wheels that you can put wheelchairs in.
Really?
You can actually, you can
Wow.
pretty much go on any single thing that's there.
That's cool.
And they have, and they opened a water park. I forgot about that. They opened a water park. All of the people there are like equipped and qualified to handle kids with disabilities.
Yeah. Stop looking at the chat.
I can't. So yeah.
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm
It's a
glad
pretty good
that
thing.
exists. It was definitely like, it was a good. I felt bad because we used to pass by it, and I was like, "Why is this old dilapidated park here?" It really isn't old.
not-
It's
it's
just
not
empty.
even
It's just empty.
It's
That's all
always
it is.
empty.
We just go past and it's empty, and it's like, why is this one theme park here? Other than the fact that San Antonio is the chalk zone of Texas, and just random things just go
Accumulates
there.
theme parks. Yeah.
Right, yeah, it does. San Antonio accumulates theme parks is in fact one of the original intended purposes of San Antonio.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that's really cool.
I used to want to go there really bad because I can tell it's a theme park, so we'd always drive by and I'm like, I want to be there. And then I didn't find out that
Right.
it was a park for kids with disabilities for a long time. So normal kids without disabilities can also
Wow.
go there. Yeah. Kids without disabilities can also go. Like, it fully functions as a regular theme park too.
Okay.
But kids with disabilities get in free.
Okay.
And then kids without disabilities have to pay. I feel like I'm ruining this. It's time for Push the Buttons.
It is. Puffle Master submitted one a little while ago.
All right.
He says, you get super speed. He specifies as you can walk 600 miles per day, just very specific. But you may only stay anywhere for one night, and you must stay 500 miles away, I assume, from the previous place. Each place becomes available after 1 week.
Yes, I would do this.
So you just have to be, you are just super drifter, is what you're describing.
Yeah. Yeah, I would do this in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
That sounds great.
I can
mean,
see-
because I don't have to do it.
Yeah,
It's
sure.
a choice.
Well, it says you can only stay anywhere for one night, meaning, I think, including your own home. Like, after one night, you have to leave and go somewhere else. So every day you can only stay for one day.
I mean, this speaks to me as an entire choice. You
That's
get
true.
super speed. So, like,
You become
well, I don't
super
know.
drifter. Do you become super drifter or don't you? This is the...
Yeah, I do that. I do that. I do that.
This reminds me of a picture I saw a while ago, and I never found an explanation for it, but it was just screenshots of different news reports from all around the country. And the same guy was just wandering in the background of each one of the news reports.
Oh, wait, what? What?
It
Oh, yeah.
was just a picture that got passed around the internet a long time ago. I don't know if it was fake or not, but that's just what this reminded me of. Just being, that's what I would use this power for, is just simultaneously appearing in the background of live television all across the country in impossible times.
Guys, please send in your push the buttons because I can't deal with chat anymore.
It's all right. We're at the end of the show.
We are. We can just leave. I forgot we have that option.
For next Wednesday, You can submit your stories to tweet them at Dormonster, and also please include the hashtag OKWe'reUp, because if we do get them spread out over the week, it's going to be much easier to look them up through the hashtag. So do both.
Yep.
The current prompt is we want your family lore stories. What is a story that gets passed down in your family, or like repeated every holiday, or something about an older member of your family, or something that just happened back along your lineage that's like a whole thing within your family that everybody knows about.
Or no one knows about and you just found out.
Sure, yeah, that also works.
I feel like family secrets can also fall into
Yeah,
this.
family
That's
lore,
what Matt was
family
trying
secrets.
to be careful of. Like, if your secret is that like your uncle is a rapist, then, like,
Right.
don't share it. Like, I don't want to know. Fun to mildly uninteresting is the range of stories we're looking for here. Not-
Entertainment value.
Yes.
That's what we're going for.
Okay.
So tweet that to us. I will try to make some reminder tweets to also send those in, so we get a few more over Twitter.
Ian's
and
cousin is in chat threatening to tell one about Ian.
I will do it.
We're ready. Next Wednesday.
Send it on Twitter.
Or in the Discord, which I don't think he's in.
Don't send it in the Discord now, because I will lose it.
Good
I
point.
will post something in the morning, like I did this morning, next Wednesday, for any last minute stories on the Discord as well.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, send them to Twitter. We will do Twitter ones first. So if you collect them on Twitter first, we'll do that.
All right.
Coming up today,
Oh, yeah.
I believe we have.
It's Wednesday.
What indeed? What is Wednesday? Oh, it's Pros with Con, usually.
Pros with Con, that's right. It's coming on right after
That
this.
should be coming on right after this.
That's why Jamie's in chat.
I've
He's-
seen Ricky.
he's ready.
Oh yeah, okay. Ricky and Jamie are here. I don't know who the guest is. It might be Jamie. I have not updated. I have not talked to people about anything in a few days. Actually,
Is Pros with Con PG-13? Because I don't think Jamie can be on it.
But yeah, so stick around. Like right after this ends, Ian's gonna hop on. So
We should
don't
end
go
it then.
anywhere.
We should end.
We should end.
Because we're
thank
late.
you for joining. We are a little bit late. I apologize to
Bye,
you.
everybody. Stick around for Pros with Con because it's always good.
And we will see you in the morning. Bye.
Bye.